Graziella TV. Welcome to Graziella TV. Welcome to Graziella on www.graziellaTV.com. Serving up a hot dish of this and of that. Only on GRAZIELLATV.com. Be there.
Hello and welcome to the Fit Foodie on Graziella TV. I'm your host, Graziella Barada. Today we are making a sinfully delicious chocolate mousse that is unbelievably healthy for you. Let's get started with the first unusual ingredient, avocado. I'm going to take 2 avocados and put them in a food processor. So what you can do, you can either use a food processor or a blender. So now that I've got my avocado in the food processor, I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of extra virgin organic coconut oil. If you can't find that, you can also do coconut cream, coconut milk, but it tastes best with coconut oil. And of course, make sure it's not hydrogenated, because back in the 80s and still today, that's what gives coconut oil a bad rap. It's because it's hydrogenated in packaged products. So Google coconut oil and you'll see what I mean. Okay, now we're going to put 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. Maple syrup gives this a really delicious flavor, and it doesn't just add sweetness, it adds that perfect maple flavor, which, believe it or not, makes the chocolate mousse taste absolutely divine. There's no sugar in this recipe. So the original recipe actually calls for a lot more maple syrup, but I'm going to do half and half. So I am doing part maple syrup and part Truvia. So I'm doing 4 packets of Truvia. And if you don't know, Truvia is part stevia, which is a sweet leaf that comes from South America, and part erythritol, which is an alcohol that comes from fruits. There's not really alcohol in it, it's just, well, look it up. Now, another surprising ingredient, we have tamari. So tamari adds a little bit of salt, which every sweet dish needs. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of tamari. Tamari is just like soy sauce, except it's not fermented with wheat, so it's gluten-free. And lastly, the original recipe calls for balsamic vinegar, but I prefer using red wine, and I think it gives it an even better flavor. So I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of this. Be careful, make sure that your measurements are exact. Perfect. And lastly, I'm going to put some vanilla. And you guys know me already, so I'm going to use a little extra vanilla because I love my bourbon vanilla. That's the kind I'm using. So 3 teaspoons of bourbon vanilla. Okay, we're going to go to the food processor and then at the end add our chocolate. So we want to make this nice and smooth and then add the chocolate at the end. So let's go to the food processor. So like I said before, you can do this in a food processor or a blender, and if you're lucky to have Vitamix, you can do it in that too. Okay, I only have 2 settings here, so I'm going to chop first. Get it nice and creamy. And then I'm going to grind. Okay, so in between you want to take your spoon and kind of just scrape the sides and make sure that everything is blended really, really well. Make sure you've got that coconut oil in there mixed in really, really well. Then I'm going to give it one more blend. Good, and now it's time to add our cocoa. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to eye it, but you want to put anywhere between 1/4 and 1/3 cup of pure cocoa. Has no sugar, totally unprocessed, just pure cocoa. So it can be baking cocoa if you like. That's usually the type that you want to look for, is a baking cocoa. Good, so that's about a 1/4 cup now. I'm going to see how chocolatey that is. And you can just adjust the amount of cocoa to the amount of chocolatiness that you like. Okay, so now we're definitely going to have to scrape the sides a little bit more, and we're almost done. This pudding involves no cooking. It's so simple. It's made right before your eyes in your food processor. And this is so healthy for you, as you can see already. You've got your avocados, your coconut oil, your pure cocoa, and there's very little sugar in here, or sugars rather, because you only have your maple syrup and Truvia. That's it. We're gonna give it one last blend and we're good to go. Perfect. Now it's time to taste. My favorite part. I have to make sure that there's enough in the spoon so that I can assess the flavor. This is pure heaven. I can assure you, you will absolutely love this recipe. You will be blown away by how delicious it is with avocado, maple syrup, Truvia, vanilla, coconut oil, and you can practically call this a superfood recipe. So try it at home and let me know what you think. Whenever making yourself a decadent dessert, you always want to put it in an elegant dish so that you feel like you're treating yourself, going out to a fancy restaurant. So now it's time for me to enjoy my decadent chocolate mousse. Bye. Oh, you guys are still there. Don't forget to like us on facebook.com/GRAZIELLA TV. I'll see you next time.